Hello and welcome to Miss Charlotte Astrology. My name is Charlotte. I'm a full-time working astrologer, and on this channel I analyze the astrological charts of public figures, and very often they are celebrities in the form of actors, artists, musicians, politicians, and sometimes they are royalty, and that's exactly who we'll be looking at today. I'll be analyzing the astrological chart and the transits of Prince Andrew, who is one of the senior members of the British royal family. So just in case you've been living under a rock, he's in the news cycle because he was friends with the child trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. He was friends with him for many, many years, decades. He told a story that he cut ties with Jeffrey Epstein in 2010, but recently, in the last few days, it's been discovered that he had sent a very affectionate email to Jeffrey Epstein, in 2011. So this piece of evidence, this correspondence to Jeffrey Epstein, contradicts the story he told that he stopped being friends with him in 2010. Now, he has decided to relinquish his royal titles, not prince because he was born with that, because he's the son of a queen, but he has decided to relinquish all his dukedoms. And as a result, so has Sarah Ferguson. She was the Duchess of York, and she'll no longer be using that title. So lots of scandal. So what I'm going to do here is have a look at his astrological chart and also have a look at the transits. It's a very interesting chart. And yeah, Randy Andy's going down. So we're going to explore that a bit. Before I dive in, I just want you guys to know that I do readings. I've just reintroduced my MP3 readings, as well as, I do have 1 hour Zoom readings, and I have now 30-minute, half-hour Zoom readings. Of course, they're recorded, so you don't have to take notes or anything while we're in the meeting. If you would like to support me, you would like to get one of these chart readings done, you can book in the link below. It takes you to my Calendly. And I'm also having a retreat next September. We're going to be contacting people soon. So if you would like to go to either Italy or Greece, please click the link to the survey below. Fill it out. It is your expression of interest, and we'll talk to you soon. I'll see you in the Zoom room. I'll see you in the MP3s. I'll see you in the treat. Maybe all three. Who knows? All right. Let's talk about Prince Andrew. So he is a 0-degree Pisces sun. It is in the 8th house. There is an out of sign conjunction with Chiron. So the boy is a bit wounded. We'll talk about that. He's just some self-esteem things here. And then he's got a Mercury in Pisces. And he's got a Leo rising with Uranus in the 1st house. He's got a moon in Scorpio and a Mars-Venus conjunction in Capricorn with Saturn, as well as a couple of asteroids. Okay, so that is his chart. Let's talk about this 8th house. And also we'll talk about this midheaven as well. So what's really interesting about Prince Andrew is that very early on in his life, he got a lot of glory for no reason, other than, being, the most gorgeous of the children. When he was young, I know he's elderly now, but, in the 70s, in the 80s, he was something. Like, he was the cutest one. He was the tallest one out of Queen Elizabeth's 4 children. He was gorgeous. He wasn't the chosen one to be king, but, he was the spare that got an easy ride. And he could get away with he got away with a lot. Let's just say that. There's a reason why they called him Randy Andy. The South Node in the same sign as the Sun is honor and glory and respect at a very early age. Now, this can be, it should be earned. It can be earned. Very often, people with their Sun on the South Node can be very hard workers. Don't get me wrong. Like, Princess Catherine of Wales, like, she's an example. Her son, and she was born on an eclipse. Her son is on the South Node, but she is just a very naturally hard worker. This one, he was born into glory. And I think he tried to work hard, but he never really knew his place in the family. The Chiron and the Sun conjunction does point to him feeling a little wounded, a little out of place. So yeah, it's a little rough for him. And, you know, a Sun Chiron conjunction can play out very well. Very often these people walk through the world as healers, as helpers. I think in his own mind, he thought he was helping and healing people to some extent. Like he wanted to change the world for the better, being part of the royal family and like traveling all over the world and, advocating for all of these, because that's what the royal family do. They're diplomats, essentially. They advocate for all these causes. That's what he did. I mean, did it come from a heart-centered place? Probably not. I think he did a lot more business stuff. I think he hooked the UK up with a lot of US trade things. That's from what I understand based on all the documentaries I watched. But he got the honor and glory, but it wasn't necessarily well earned. Also, he's got Mercury. I mean, the sun in the 8th house is already pointing to some dark secrets. You know, he's yeah, he's what I call a Scorpio Pisces, which is hella messy. He keeps his cards close to his chest, but he's also got Mercury in his 8th house, which tells me there are complications with contracts. And yes, he is divorced. Mercury in the 8th house is a little bit of a divorce placement. Don't freak out if you have it. It doesn't mean you're definitely going to get divorced. I'm just letting you know. I see Mercury in the 8th house, and I always tell people, get a prenuptial agreement. Make sure you have your T's crossed, your I's dotted. Make sure you talk to a lawyer. Like, get it set up so that, you know, if you need to make a break for it, it can be a clean one. Mercury in the 8th house is complicated contracts. His marriage didn't work out with Fergie. They're still great friends, though. They are literally like a de facto couple still. Like, it's crazy that they're divorced for like 30 years, but they're still together and they live together. But it's so much more than that. It could be complications with business contracts. And he set up a lot of contracts very early on in his life. He's known Epstein for a really, really long time. They had some contracts. They had agreements, very messy agreements. And with this North Node, do you see this North Node? It's exposed. Look, the North Node currently is sitting on his Mercury. Those complicated contracts that placement indicates, that North Node and all these eclipses, is blowing it up. It's making it obvious. It's exposing all these dirty business dealings. And this was business. Business and pleasure intertwine here. 8th house people can be incredibly hedonistic. Hence the secrets, you know. So the South Node is represents where you come from, what's very familiar to you. He's used to getting his way. He's used to having all these contracts, these agreements, these business deals, and getting a lot of praise for it. What's his destiny? North Node with Pluto, and if we did this whole sign, this would be 2nd house. He's destroyed what should have been a really great legacy. North Node in the 2nd house is the money that you earn. Pluto in the 2nd house can indicate a couple of things. You're born into poverty and you gain a lot of wealth. You're born into wealth and then you experience poverty. It can go either way. It can, and sometimes, you can go up, you can go down. Like you have an extreme relationship with money. He has an extreme relationship with money. It's really interesting because when I took a snapshot of this chart, this was literally the day I found out he relinquished his titles. The moon was going over his South Node. The moon was going over his North Node as well as the South Node here together. And yeah. And then I think that North Node is literally like in an exact conjunction with his Mercury, and Saturn's there too. So he's having some very heavy transits in his money houses. I think he's going to be okay. I wouldn't say he's okay financially, but he's going to be taken care of. Obviously, he is the son of the monarch, and they'll make sure that he's got a roof over his head and he's got meals and stuff. But he's essentially destroyed his fortune and he's disgraced his family. The 2nd house is the money. Look, the 8th house, that South Node in the 8th house, that's the inherited money. He's accustomed to inherited money, like a never-ending supply of money. South Node, 8th house, sun, honor and glory, inheritance. Where he's headed is pretty desolate. It's pretty lonely. I mean, yes, maybe he is living at the Royal Lodge, but it's going to be falling apart because I don't think he's going to be able to patch it up. It's an old building. it's disgrace. It's humbling. People with their south node on the sun, and if they've got like some extreme planets on that north node, like it can be very, very humbling. You can lose a lot. I mean, you can gain a lot. It's kind of like being a monk. You give up everything and you gain your spirit. Like it can be like that. He's gonna have to live like a monk, essentially. You know. But yeah, this nodal opposition is not fun. Nodal oppositions are never fun. You feel like you're stuck. And he's stuck. Probably forever. Let's talk about this midheaven. He's got a midheaven in Aries, so how he's perceived when he was young anyway. I know he's perceived as very immature and stupid right now, but back in the day, you know, back in the 70s, the 80s, he was kind of like that young handsome prince. He was a bit of a war hero. He fought in the Falklands War. It was like 5 minutes long. Go look at the Falklands War. It's travesty. Anyway. I'm half British, by the way. My apologies to all of you. I'll apologize for the Brits. How about that? I'm happy to do it because they should be sorry. Anyway, he has a midheaven in Aries. It's at 22 degrees. He's always going to be a bit of a polarizing figure. Him being Randy Andy, that fits here. He was throwing that thing around, getting into all sorts of trouble. They did a lot of damage control for him when he was a very young man. But yeah, with an Aries midheaven, he's always going to be perceived as a hypersexual, immature, naughty kind of personality. And also, when he was looked upon affectionately when he was young, it was like he was a larrikin. You know, in Australia we have this word called larrikin. We love it. It's like an immature man, and they get a lot of praise for it. So much fun, larrikin, haha. You know, that was his image. And it's a very kind of self-centered image, but it works because his image is to being Aries. So if you act like an Aries, you're going to fall in line with what people expect from you. And that's what he did. He played the part. Now, Saturn is moving into his 10th house in plus his 10th house, the midheaven. It's going to be moving over his midheaven for 3 years. There will be more coming out. Usually when Saturn moves over your midheaven, you can get a promotion. You can do really well professionally. So all of you Aries midheaven people, especially the ones who are having Saturn returns, the people that are like, the people that are working hard and doing the right thing, you're gonna have your comeuppance. You're gonna have your promotion. You're gonna have some really good things are gonna happen for you. You're probably gonna get a job that you've always wanted. Then you're gonna work really hard and realize you don't want it anymore. That also happens. But generally it's a very successful time for you with Saturn moving through the midheaven. But if you have been badly behaved and you have been treating people poorly, Saturn's gonna kick your butt. So there we go. And Chiron's sitting here as well. Like, the wound is up there. It's wounded. It's bleeding. His reputation, his midheaven in Aries, it's wounded. It's bleeding. It's a dying ram on the cliff. Right? That's him. Good luck with that. There'll be more coming out. This book, Virginia Giuffre just put out a book today. I intend to buy it. I hope the money goes to her children. Let's have a look at these Capricorn placements. Venus and Mars in Capricorn. You know, I love myself a Capricorn Venus. Like, I'm an Earth Venus as well. I look at Earth Venuses as placements of substance myself. Like, I prefer a water or an Earth Venus. I think they're lovely placements. But there's always a dark side. Capricorn it's Saturnian. Satan, right? Philosophy of Capricorn at its worst is I use. It's I work hard, but it's also I use. For him, the ideal relationships are mixed with business. Very often Capricorn Venuses, they fall in love with colleagues. They have to be in an environment with someone where it can work. Love is practical, right? And he's got the Mars conjunction, and Mars is exalted here. They're sitting together. That's probably why he got away with it for so long. But anyway, Mars Venus conjunction in Capricorn, work and pleasure are very intertwined. Business and pleasure are very intertwined. This is pretty nicely aspected. That's probably why he got away with it. That's probably why. There's nothing really here that's squaring it, is there? Nothing opposing it, nothing squaring it. Saturn moving over, when he had his Saturn return and it went over his Mars and Venus, that's when his karma came. That's when he was exposed. I think like 2019. Do you remember he did that interview? That disastrous interview at the end of 2019? That was his Saturn return. Now, when it's really nicely aspected, but when Mars and Saturn, when Venus and Mars sit with Saturn, if you have dirty dealings, you will pay for those. If you have reckless sex, you will pay for that. Maybe you'll lose money, which he has. Maybe you'll get sick. Maybe you get disgraced. But yeah, he got away with it for a long time, but he couldn't keep running from the truth. This is an impulsive. You know, it's really interesting. He's an impulsive man, but he's impulsive when he can get away with it. He creates opportunities to be impulsive. Do you understand what I mean? You know when people are impulsive and they just do things and it's dangerous and they'll just do it whenever they want and then they pay for it because they didn't think. He waits until he has an opportunity, a window of time and space where he can have all his hedonism just come out, like he throws up hedonism. And then he closes the door and someone else can clean it up and it's okay. That's this. I'm a Mars in Capricorn myself. If we want to act up, if we want to be hedonists, we'll hold it in. We'll walk through the desert like a camel. We won't drink. We won't eat. But then we find that oasis and he couldn't act like that all the time. He had to wait for the right time, the right place, the right people to do it with. And this is all 6th house. Again, business, pleasure. Capricorn, Mars is sex. Venus is desires. 6th house is work. Capricorn is work. Sex and business, hedonism, it's all intertwined. And then that Saturn return, that second Saturn return kicked him in the butt. Let's talk about this Scorpio moon. Oh, Mummy loved you. Mummy loved you, didn't she? Oh. Uranus square and Pluto square the moon. That's a mum that suffers. But moon in the 4th, very close. Mama's boy. Neptune not in a conjunction, but it's not far away. There's no boundaries at home. He was given no structure, no boundaries. He could do whatever he wanted, given lots of toys. Like, he's just... It's a little bit drunk down there. It's a little bit drunk, that 4th house. And I could argue that the interception, and forgive me people that have intercepted moons, I'm not saying that you're evil people or anything, but if you have an intercepted moon, sometimes your emotions are withheld from you, or like your emotions are withheld, like you have trouble accessing your feelings, or that sensitivity might be an issue for you, like insensitivity, sorry. Or sometimes you feel like you weren't properly nurtured. Maybe he was spoiled. I don't really think he was nurtured. Mummy did love him, but Mummy was the queen. Mummy had a full-time job. He could get away with murder. Maybe he did. I don't know. Maybe not. All alleged. I don't know. Ava, be quiet. More impulsivity issues. Uranus squared the moon. Pluto squared the moon. He can't emotionally regulate. He's enabled, but he also can't emotionally regulate. No one's ever told him off for anything. Sun square moon. I wonder, mum and dad. There's a bit of friction between mum and dad. Anyway, yeah. This guy, he's a hedonist. He's like drunk. He's drunk on a lack of boundaries, just a lack of discipline. Horrible, like just kind of like a greedy guts. He's a greedy personality. He's got a lot of secrets. He's never had to pay anything his whole life, and now there's a debt. And now he's got to pay it. Leo rising, he loves to be the center of the room. Uranus in the first and Leo rising, like he loves to cause a scene. He loves to walk into a room like, hey, I'm here, and everybody freaks out. He loved it. When he was young and handsome, he was I can't imagine. Actually, I've seen footage of him. Go watch a documentary about Prince Andrew. He's so insufferable. But yeah, this has been a rough time. It will continue to be a rough time, especially as the sun moves into Scorpio. I took these transits on the day that he relinquished his titles, which makes a lot of sense. Things have kind of clicked into place. I usually describe a death chart as like clicking into place, but it's also like when a big event happens in your life, things click into place. And as you can see, Lilith, Mercury, Mars, the sun, moving through his 4th house, like exposing his secrets. 4th house is a secret house. It's the domestic sphere, family stuff, Fergie getting disgraced, all of that. Fergie actually got found out first. She wrote a letter in 2011, and now his letter from 2011 has also been exposed. They're both in the doghouse. Let me know if you want me to have a look at Fergie's chart. I was looking at hers before I saw his, because she got in trouble first. But yeah, we'll just see where this goes. This is messy. There'll be more, guys. There'll be more. He's a very dark personality. And a little bit of an idiot. Anyway. A narcissistic idiot pervert that hurt children. Normally, like, I'm unbiased, but if you mess with a child, you're done. Like, you're done. People that hurt animals and children, no. You're done. I can be really impartial, and, like, I read the chart, like, don't get me wrong, but as soon as I know that you hurt children, I'm gonna read you to filth. Alright, guys, that's it. That's all I have for you today. I'll see you in the next reading. Thank you so much. Bye.